Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, so last year, for some reason, I started accumulating all of these portable CD players. Some of them we did reviews on, other ones were used, and I just picked them up in thrift stores. And I've really enjoyed it. I don't want to keep collecting that. I don't need to have a million of them. I have 10 now, which is, more than enough. I can literally, what mood am I in? Am I in a pink Studebaker mood or more of a black Tyler mood or the Kenwood mood, whatever. Yeah. Now, each of these kind of have some unique features, benefits and whatnot, and you may come across these either online or in person. So I thought it'd be kind of fun just to kind of rank them, give you my thoughts on each one of them. And let me start with this. This is the Sony D131. For me, this was the first portable CD player I ever got. It was about, I think, this Christmas of '94. I had enough, I think I had Christmas money enough to go buy one of these, and it was a big deal at that time to have a portable CD player. It's plain Jane. I mean, it was like a bottom of the line for Sony. No anti-skip, none of that stuff. But I loved it. And a lot of happy memories of listening to like old Jeff Foxworthy CDs and stuff, and obviously music CDs as well on this. It is a workhorse. It's got a line output, a headphone jack. It's programmable. I think it looks cool from an industrial design standpoint. I think it's a very cool looking unit. Anyway, somewhere along the way, it got, lost or donated or whatnot. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm like, man, I want that again. I would love to have that. Now, there's people that are really into collecting Discmans, and later the Walkman, the disc Walkmans. And this is not like a highly sought after one. There's some that go for hundreds of dollars, and this is not it, thankfully. So I was able to snag it on eBay for like $12, and it works pretty much perfectly. The AVLS doesn't work, which is the automatic volume control, but that's a great little CD player. It's got good sound. There's a little bit of hiss to it, which I don't mind whatsoever. I just think it's a very, very cool unit, very nostalgic for me. Kind of going chronologically here, I guess. This Kenwood I got some years after the Sony, and I remember I had a Kenwood that was fantastic, and then I either returned it or sold it for some reason. I can't remember. And eventually I picked this one up. It was pretty dang good too. This is the actual one too. But it takes 4 batteries. And most portable CD players, even modern ones, only take 2. So 4 was a heck of a lot. But the sound on this was super rich and kind of a cool design too. It's got bass boost, and it has a 40-second anti-skip. And if you're not familiar with how that works, basically there's a RAM chip that all the audio is loaded into RAM, and then you're actually hearing it back from the RAM. Now, some purists will say, well, that's bad because the quality of the CD then is, only as good as the quality of that chip. So it's the potential for it degrading the sound quality is there. And I personally don't really notice a difference. So some people like to either be able to shut those off or the anti-skip off or not even have it in the first place. But yeah, that's a cool unit. Definitely a cool player. Now this is one of the ones I picked up at a thrift store. So if you look at that logo, what brand is it? I don't remember off the top of my head. Durabrand. So this is one of the Walmart brands. And, it's a pretty basic unit. I like how the design of each of these is a little bit different. I think that the industrial design element is cool. I remember when CD players started, because initially all of the controls were on the front lip or the front edge of players, and then eventually they started putting them up on top, which makes sense because you can hold it in your hands and control it. This one works pretty good. I think it has some skipping issues, and I don't think there's any anti-skip or anything. It's a very basic unit, but it is programmable. This is the Monodeal that we've reviewed recently. It's one of the new units that you can get on Amazon. I think it's a very cool unit. It plays MP3 discs as well as CDs. Also, kind of interestingly, it opens sideways, so that's kind of cool. And you can see the bottom of the board there. And this one also is totally rechargeable. So it's got a built-in rechargeable battery. No double A's. So it's kind of cool. You can recharge it like a cell phone and take it with you, and the battery lasts a long time. I can attest to that. But valid concern is, batteries are consumable items. So what happens when the battery dies? Well, you're out of luck. And it was pretty pricey, if I remember right. $50-$60, something like that. But I do like it. Great sound. It's got a beautiful, in fact, I can fire it up here, bright blue display. In fact, let me turn the light off just so you can see. It's a little bit more, it says no disc, but the blue lights on it are cool. It's much more bright than, the blue is much more vibrant than it looks on camera. All right, next is another modern unit. This is the Tyler, I guess they're all going to be modern units pretty much this point forward. This is the Tyler unit. It's got this weird concentric stamped metal. And wow, it's amazing how this light just, stuff looks clean, and then you turn on this like super bright light and you're like, guess not. The controls are up here, which is kind of cool. This is a pretty rugged unit. I like this one as well. And again, it does have the AA battery capability, or see it like it's a feature, it has AA's. But this one also, I believe, yes, it's got the USB jack, so you can power it off of a 5-volt USB connection. Doesn't charge anything. Actually, I take that back. I think this one will charge batteries if you put rechargeable batteries in here. Yep. So if you put recharge on and then you put rechargeable batteries, non-alkaline, in there, and then connect it to a USB, you can actually use this as a battery charger. Make sure you don't do that with alkaline batteries or you're going to have a problem. If there's no batteries in here and this is switched to off, you can, simply power it via the USB, which is kind of a popular feature now. This is one of my favorites. This is a new Studebaker. Good grief, dude. The dust. New Studebaker unit. It is thick. I mean, it is a really chunky disc player. I think that's really cool. Again, 5-volt input, or you can power it off of batteries. I actually have batteries in here because I've been using it recently. I try not to leave batteries in devices that aren't used. If you see where it says car mount, that's actually a built-in magnet. So if you have a magnetic phone mount, you can actually stick this on that, or it came with one that goes onto your car vent and you can stick this on there, kind of like the new iPhone 12s have the built-in magnet. This also has an FM transmitter, so the idea is in your car you can play your CD. If you have an older radio that doesn't have a connection for like a line input, you can actually play your music through this. And by the way, the sound quality on these modern ones is pretty, it's pretty good. And I've talked before about portable CD players, or CD players in general. It all comes down to the DAC. And for the most part, these are all on par. They're going to sound pretty dang good. That's why CD is a great format, because a cheap $10 player doesn't sound that much different than an expensive one. All right, now this one surprised me. I picked this one up probably most recently in terms of the used ones. And it was another $5 Goodwill find. And it's got an FM radio in there. It's got the window so you can see the disc is spinning. And looking at this, keeping in mind this is about 2003, 2004. This is GPX, which stood for Grand Prix. And that brand name goes back. In fact, there's 8-track players made by Grand Prix. Same thing as GPX. But anyway, I dated this, just by looking at it. Oh, that's probably, 2002, 2003. And there's the bottom side of it. It's got a interestingly protruding battery compartment. But then I open this up and it's 2019. It was made a year and a half ago. Can you believe that? I just can't believe it. But this is a pretty decent unit. I like it. It's got the ESP. You can turn it on and off, which is good. It's programmable. Most of these are programmable. Now here's the older Studebaker. It's not quite as thick as the newer one. Let me show you comparison-wise. But it has a beautiful finish. Almost sort of like a... it's obviously designed to have the same feel as like a 50s car, Studebaker. And by the way, what is this company? Not Modern Marketing. Spectra Merchandising owns, or at least has a license on that Studebaker name. So yes, this is the same Studebaker. Obviously, they are rebranding product, but I think this is super cool. It's got sort of that enameled finish look to it. Same with the pink and black one. They offer this in a few different colors. It's got a built-in radio, and besides that, it's it's pretty basic, but I think it's super cool. Yeah, this is the same age, September. It's only a couple months newer than that, so pretty interesting stuff. You can see the plastic is actually a green molded plastic, which is interesting. I love this unit. It's a great little unit. Oh, the one thing I did notice about this particular CD player, it applies to this one and to a slightly lesser extent that one, is the volume doesn't get very loud. I mean, at max volume on this, it's like pretty much adequate. So for people that like super loud music, that may be an issue. And that was sort of some feedback that this one got. The Longtail, aka kitchen scale. The funky design on this, in a way, really won me over because it's a plastic and actually slightly translucent plastic with a wood grain, and then this black plastic top on it as well. Looking at the front there, we've got the open close latch. On the side, 2 headphone jacks. So you can those are variable, so the volume control affects both of them at the same time. You can actually, share, listening to a CD with a friend, which would be kind of cool potentially. And I could see, like, if you're like on a camping trip, or if you go to camp as a teenager or whatever, that could be kind of cool. And it's rechargeable, so you can actually charge up the battery again. It's going to be that same question of, yeah, that's cool for now, but what happens when the battery dies? There it is on the bottom. This is sold under a couple different brand names. I personally think it's a genius idea. Let me try to open it here and kind of show you what we got under the hood. All the plastic is translucent, so even this black is slightly see-through, which is kind of bizarre. All the controls down there. It does have EQ settings. Some of these do have EQ settings, which is kind of nice. Although, it's weird. As I've gotten older, I listen to my music. I used to always, typical teenager, I would, bass boost and a little bit of treble. And so, for the Sony Discman, having the bass boost is all you need, right? And by the way, the bass boost does still work on here. But nowadays, and on my iPhone, it's the same way because I listen to a lot of digital music as well. I don't usually have that on. I usually keep it flat because there's, sometimes you miss out. This Tyler is probably the cheapest in terms of manufacturer. I don't want to say quality because I really like it. I like the whole thing. I like everything about it. It's a very basic unit. Also been using this, but I like it. It's kind of a fingerprint magnet. So is that, and that the lid is very scratch sensitive. It does have anti-skip, so it's actually not that basic, but it's got a very, simple LCD screen, non-backlit. And yeah, but I like it. You can actually power it off of USB as well. It's a pretty common feature. Very basic unit. And is that it? I think we've seen all of them. So let's go ahead and rate them from number 1 to number 10 in terms of my favorite. I've kind of reviewed each one of them. Again, I don't anticipate buying any more because I have more than I need now. But what I might do is, if I see one just at the Goodwill and it's cheap, I might snag it. So my number 1 is still going to be the Sony. It's just the gold standard for me. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic unit. Number 2 for me, this is tricky. I'm going to go with the Monodeal. I like the fact that it's completely round and it's backlit. I like the blue lights. I like the fact that I can play MP3s on it. By the way, that unit, the kitchen scale one, and let's see, I think the Studebaker may be the only 3 that can do the MP3 discs as well. But I like the rechargeable battery. I think that's a good thing. And number 3, I'm going to put this Studebaker because I love the design of it. It's got good sound. I like the FM transmitter. I think that's genius. Next, I am going to put this, again, because of the functionality, the built-in battery, and, it gives you some, functionality there, which is really, really good. Number 4, what are we going to put for number 4? I'm going to put the Tyler, because like I said, I do like that unit a lot, even though it is super, super basic. For number 5, I kind of like the rest of them equally, so this is going to be kind of hard. I guess I'll put the Kenwood because the Kenwood sound quality is really, really good. It would be higher ranked if it didn't require 4 batteries. And I have a multi-power supply, so sometimes I just will forego the batteries. Next, I am going to put this Studebaker, again, partially because of the design, partially because of the functionality. This Tyler player as well. It's very good. And then I am going to put these two last, just because they are probably I feel like they're I don't want to say the worst sounding, but one of them does have a little bit of hiss. And I've had some functionality issues with one. I just can't remember which it is. I think it's this one. So I'm going to put this Durabrand Walmart one there. And then last place, we're going to put the GPX or Grand Prix. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching the show. I very much appreciate it. Tell me what your favorite portable CD player is, and if you still use that format. I personally still have hundreds and hundreds of CDs. I've held on to them. I'm glad I did, because I enjoy that. I enjoy listening to music on a device personally with my headphones on. I don't have to worry about notifications coming in, the phone ringing, etc., etc. But anyway, there you go. That's going to do it for today, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.